Hey, it's MJ here with Fight Life Media, coming to you with another edition of 5 and 5 Sin City Picks. It's the pick show where we give you 5 picks in 5 minutes. Today we're covering UFC 146. UFC 146 is happening on Saturday, May 26th from the MGM Grand Garden Arena. It's an all-heavyweight card. If you're not in the know, man, this is the card that you don't want to miss. All the heavyweights on this card are going to be headlining it. It's pretty much a lot of top 10 heavyweights from the UFC, and it's going to be a great card. So we're going to start from the bottom up. First fight of the night, we've got Lavar Big Johnson versus Stefan Struve. Lavar's coming in as a replacement for Mark Hunt, who got injured. Lavar Johnson, 17-5. He's coming off knockout victories over Beltran and Pat Barry. If you saw the Pat Barry fight, man, you know this guy's got some serious KO power. He's got some submission losses, so you know he's going to have to be sure not to take this to the ground or get taken down by Stefan Struve. Stefan Struve, 23-5. He's coming off of wins over Dave Pee Wee Herman and also Pat Barry. He's got KO losses, though, to Travis Brown and to Roy Nelson. Usually, you know, Stefan Struve, when he comes in against guys that have a lot of knockout power, he's had some issues. You know, both of these guys are kind of each other's kryptonite. If this goes to the ground, Stefan Struve's going to take advantage of that. I don't see that happening. I've got to give my pick to Lavar Johnson. Next fight of the night, we've got Dave Herman versus Roy Nelson. Man, this looks like a great fight. This whole card is stacked. You know, Dave Herman, he's 21-3. He's coming off of a TKO loss to Stefan Struve. He's got a lot of that athleticism, but we still are wondering how serious is this guy. I think if he gets with a good camp and he stays, you know, motivated and actually gets in there and train, the sky's the limit for this guy. Roy Nelson, he's 16-7. Been a little bit of an up and down battle the last, you know, couple years for Roy Nelson. He does really great against guys that aren't typically in the top 10. He's struggled with some of the top tier guys. He does have a loss to Mir. He's got a loss to Verdum and to Junior Dos Santos. But really, you know, no recent stoppage losses. I've got to go with Roy Nelson on this one. I think his power and just his, you know, his grittiness is going to be the difference maker. He's a lot more serious about his career at this point than Dave Herman is. So I'm going to give a KO victory to Roy Nelson, probably in the second. All right, next fight of the night, we've got Stipe Miocic versus Cain del Rosario. Stipe Miocic, 8-0. He's got 2 victories in the octagon. He's got a win over Joey Beltran and also a win over DeFries. He's got 6 knockout victories and 1 submission. Pretty well-rounded guy, got some power. He's coming up against Cain del Rosario. This is going to be del Rosario's first octagon debut. He's 11-0. He's got 11 finishes. He's coming off of a submission win over Lavar Johnson. 8 KOs in his career and 3 submissions. I got to give the edge here to Cain del Rosario. He's a little bit more well-rounded. He's got that ground game, and he's also got that knockout power. I think he's also faced a higher level of competition. I got to give the nod to Cain del Rosario. Co-main event of the night, we've got Cain Velasquez versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Man, this is going to be a great matchup here. This whole card, like we said, is stacked. This one right here could easily be for a #1 contender spot. Cain Velasquez, 9-1. Obviously, you know, he's the former UFC champion. He's coming off of that loss to Junior Dos Santos. He's got 8 knockouts. Obviously, he's got top-tier striking. He's got power. He's got wrestling, athleticism. He's got everything that you could ask for in a top heavyweight. He's going to face Antonio Bigfoot Silva, who's 16-3 in his career. Bigfoot Silva also has got knockout power. He's got 11 KOs and 3 submissions. He's got wins over Andrei Arlovsky, Fedor Emelianenko, Mike Kyle. You know, he is coming off of a KO loss to Daniel Cormier, though, which if anybody saw the fight last night, you know that Cormier is no joke. In this fight, I got to give the edge to Cain Velasquez. I think just the level of competition. He's been on the big stage longer, and you know, I think his athleticism and knockout power is going to be the difference. Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier, they train together, so you know, I think that Cain Velasquez is going to have the answer for Bigfoot Silva in this one, and I expect him to take it by knockout. In the main event of the night, you got Junior Dos Santos taking on Frank Mir. Man, what can you say about this fight? Frank Mir is coming in at almost a 10-1 underdog. It's hard not to root for Frank Mir. He's coming in with a record of 16-5. He's got 3 knockouts. He's got 9 submissions. He's a 2-time UFC champ. Would be one of the only guys to ever become a 3-time UFC heavyweight champion. He's going to come in looking to do the same thing that he did with Nogueira. Everybody said that he couldn't knock out Nogueira, and he did just that. Everybody said he couldn't submit Nogueira, and he did more than submit him. He broke his arm. Junior Dos Santos, maybe a little revenge in sight here. You know, he trains at a Team Nogueira. He's 14-1. He's got 10 knockouts and 2 submissions. Man, Junior Dos Santos, he's just made a run through the UFC. He's beaten Verdum. He's beaten Struve. He's beaten Krokop, Gonzaga, Nelson, Shane Carwin, Velasquez. What's left? Maybe just Frank Mir. I got to give the nod to Junior Dos Santos. I think he's going to take this one quickly. You know, Frank Mir, as much of a true champion as he is, his chin's a little suspect. If he can weather the game, and if he gets this down to the ground, obviously it's going to be a whole nother ball game, but I think Junior Dos Santos' hands are just going to be a little too strong for him, and I got to expect that this is going to probably be a first-round knockout by Junior Dos Santos. So for more content and exclusive coverage, make sure and check us out at Fight Life Media, where we're covering MMA from the ground up.